Thanks. Daniel, we've heard from David Farke and he was really fine with the result and performance. What's your feeling after that 0-0 draw?
Yes, when you play a playoff half final with two legs, an away draw, and especially also a clean sheet in a difficult ground here at Carrow Road is always a good and solid result and a good basement situation for the second leg at home. There's no doubt about this. I'm happy with the performance and happy also with the result. Obviously, the last games in the regular season were not that great in terms of results, and also we've conceded a few too many goals after many clean sheets during the season, and especially in the away games we've conceded a bit too many goals and wanted to be rock solid here today against the ball. We didn't allow them to have one chance out of the game. Obviously, Norwich is a big threat out of set pieces. We allowed a few, but I think we dealt with them also quite well. I think in this terms, really good effort for my lads. And the longer the game went, the more control we had over the game. So we gained more and more confidence and control. And especially the second half, we put lots of pressure on them. They defended really well structured and with intensity. It was not easy to create clear-cut chances. It felt a bit like the momentum was more and more on our side, and perhaps a goal is coming, but you also have to make sure that you're not over-motivated in all your enthusiasm and your dominance, and open then spaces for counter-attack. So we were also switched on in order to control all their counter-attacks, and for that, we didn't find then perhaps the opener to use one of our chances, perhaps, a bit decision-making in and around the box could have been slightly better, so we could have gone for a finish when we played the pass and the other way around. But overall, I have to say, I'm pretty happy, especially after last away games in the league, to be there with such rock solid performance and also with a good result. But we have a massive game upcoming on Thursday evening, and it's just half time, and we have to keep going.
What about the structure of your team today, Daniel? Archie Gray came in with Kamara and Gruever, Kuro went to the bench. What was your thinking of how you set up today?
Yeah, like I mentioned, one reason was that we conceded, especially in the last away games, too many goals, and we know that we always have creative creative players and goal threats on the pitch, and wanted to make sure that we use also Archie's ability to cover ground, his intensity, his strength in duels, to be a bit more disciplined in our work against the ball. Was also due to the strength of Norwich, because Norwich has many technical players, especially in the center of the park. We had also a few problems in the second game against them in the season, our home game, when we allowed them players like Sarah, Nunes, McLean, a bit too much space to control the game. We wanted to calm this a bit down, and also has to do that Norwich switches a lot their structure within the game from 4-man formation, build up 3-man formation. In this setup, we could have dealt with these situations quite well. Don't want to go too much into details because we're just on the press conference, but there were many reasons why we choose this, and wanted also to gain our defensive stability back. That's what we did, and after we had this confidence and this stability back, we turned then in order to control the game more and more with possession, with our normal style. So for that, it worked quite well.
And are you expecting Georgina Ruta to stretch the game more when he plays in that position, rather than to come up for the ball, which is his normal thing?
We wanted to be flexible with him. Yeah? We obviously know that he's also a player who has pace and mobility, and obviously that it's for centre-backs not that easy to deal with them, especially when you're a tall and physical centre-back. So for that, we wanted him sometimes to stretch a game, sometimes also to play a bit like a false nine and open then the gaps where Willy Gnonto and Chris Somerville could explore the space a bit. Could have done this a bit more, but it's also, again, so we played against a really good side. They've earned also their spot in the half final, and so for that, don't want to be too greedy. So overall, if you come away with such a performance and such a result in the first leg, you have to be happy, because normally it never happens on this level that whatever one team wins this game, first leg 5-0, 6-0. It's always a tight game in the first game, and for that I think overall we can be quite pleased. But again, everything is still possible, and we have to make sure that we play with the same focus and the same intensity also on Thursday.
Two massive talking points first half. Was it a penalty in your opinion, and have you seen what's been very marginal offside? the goal that didn't score.
During the game, I was 100% convinced it was a penalty. After watching it back, I have to say the foul starts before the outside the box and then in the box. So I think he touches also the ball. So for me, it was definitely a free kick then, not a penalty, but a free kick should have been given. Yeah, because we're not catching, we're still playing football. That's definitely a fact. And I'm still pretty annoyed with the offside situation. Someone told me that Sky showed a picture where they say, "Oh, here's a proof it's offside." I can just recommend everyone should have a look on the scouting feed when you have really like a fine proper line. It's not offside. It's really on one height, and we also have the rule that in doubt you also go in the favor of the offensive team. It feels like this rule is not in place anymore. I'm annoyed with this because we're playing here on a top level, and small details make a difference. And if you go in lead with the easy tap in here in a difficult away game, obviously it changes the whole picture. We're playing here. Don't want to make it too high, but in the end, it's everyone speaks about Wembley is a whatever £100 million game, and on this level, all the decisions have to be spot on. And then it's also important that the fourth assistant was not too difficult to see the situation. Is then perhaps not a bit scared that perhaps the whole stadium is moaning if I don't give offside, and I in doubt I give it to the favor to the home team. It's more like no, in doubt. If you're in doubt, you give it definitely in the favor to the attacker, and it's definitely not offside if you have a look on this. So I have to make sure that I'm not too much on the rage right now, because I expect myself in this games to be spot on with my decisions and my players as well. But then, sorry, if you want to be in charge of such a game, you have to do the same if you're an official. And with this situation, I'm still very annoyed. But we can't change it right now. It's not now. We have to deal with it and have to make sure, that we, against all odds, have 12 apologizing letters at home already during the season with offside goals not given and penalties not given. Whatever, we have to make sure that we find a way, even although this crucial decision went against us.
Finally, do you feel that because you finished the more strongly with two sides, you feel the momentum is with you now ahead of Thursday?
No, everything is still possible. We also have to make sure, obviously, you rather play at home instead of away, but everything is possible. I just have to point to the half-finals in the Champions League, perhaps. So each and every side can win in such a situation, and you also have to make sure that when you have the support from the home fans, you're not overdoing things. You're not overmotivated. Norwich is a really good side and also a threat on the counter-attack. If you're too greedy and open too many spaces, then they could punish you. We have to make sure that we find a good fine margin. Obviously, we like to play at home. There's no doubt about this. We have overall a really good home record in the season, but it's no guarantee. So it's still 50-50, and both sides have the same chance to earn their spot in the final. I'm pleased with the performance today. Also overall, happy with the result, but nothing is done yet. So it's still a tight game. And we have to make sure that we keep going, because Norwich is a really, really dangerous side.
Graham, your defensive solidity obviously returned today, Daniel. What about the other end of the pitch? Where are you when it comes to your attackers, their form and their confidence?
Yes, and then if I could paint a picture, I would be rock solid at the back, scoring goals for fun, scoring out of counter-attacks, out of set pieces, over the wing, through the center. It's also difficult if you focus one topic, then also to be there top class on the other topic. Yeah, obviously decision making was not perfect, and also our offensive players had to also to play their part in being rock solid. There is sometimes also a game when we don't score. Yes, it changes quite quick. Our second last away game, we scored goals for fun, 4 goals at Middlesbrough, and everyone praised our offense. Then we had a game without a goal away at QPR today. I think the focus was really on being there rock solid, because you can't be naive if you play such a game on such a level in a half final. For that, the focus was a bit more on it. Yes, of course, I would have preferred to be there always right in the decision making, but yes, when Archie Gray, for example, chooses not to shoot with the first touch and takes a second touch, or Sam Byram is in a good shooting position that he doesn't hit the ball in the proper way, I can't blame them. Yes, Cree really had some good situations. Also, Jaden later on, they could have done better. Georgie had also great situation in the first half. But overall, it's more like you just win your confidence and your rhythm back as an offensive player if you do at first the basics. And they did the basics today. And for that, I'm quite pleased. And it's always the same. So it's not like you have to press a button and then the offensive game is like a firework. It's more like, come on, concentrate on being a good teammate, being there with lots of work for the team, good work rate. And then, perhaps there's a deflected strike that goes in, and then it's more like, okay, then you score again goals for fun. So this is always the approach, or the good solidity in defensive behavior is always the basement. And I'm happy that we had this first step, and then hopefully the second step by scoring comes also to this coming next Thursday.
What do you think Elland Road will be like on Thursday night?
I think definitely an amazing atmosphere, probably much whiter than yellow today. It was also a great atmosphere here today, and was also important to keep our nerves and also not to be too impressed. I think it will be a pretty impressive atmosphere on Thursday, but we also have to make sure that we are again users, but are also not overexcited. So to show a good mental strength in this moment will be also quite important.
Ilan's distribution, what were your thoughts on that today? Do you think him and Joe were getting it right as they built out from the back?
Clean sheet, when a goalkeeper returns back with a clean sheet into the dressing room, for me is always world class, because this is his main task. We're always speaking, me as well, because I like also to use the goalkeeper in the build-up a lot, but it's the main task also to make sure that we are there with many clean sheets. Today, clean sheet, happy with him. A few decisions on the ball were a bit, could have been a bit better today. At least that was my feeling. But it's also the same. Yeah? We had games when we conceded a bit, and it's also for the goalkeeper. Although he was not there with mistakes and saving, but also with his confidence. If you concede a few goals, it's also not great. So for that, concentrate on the basement. The basement was. Not to concede, and then you go perhaps sometimes for a bit pragmatical, sometimes a long ball instead of taking too many risks. We spoke also about this at halftime, and this was, I think, then also the right choice, because normally he's a player for a goalkeeper who is really comfortable with the ball, and also important for our game in this moment when not everything is easy. You have to be concentrated on being a bit more pragmatical. That's what he was, and the main thing is clean sheet. I'm happy with him.
Daniel and Jaden were really lively from the bench, I felt, as Norwich got tired. How important will they be on Thursday as legs get even more tired?
Yes, very important. With Daniel, obviously, it was a tricky situation, because he has just one training session with us yesterday, one full training session, and was injured for 3 weeks, and till the injury is really completely healed. It will last also while each and every day is beneficial for him right now. So actually my thought was just to have him a bit with us. Yeah, it's a lucky charm, if I'm honest, because it's a good feeling if you look left to you and you think, oh, player of the caliber of Daniel James is an option on the bench. It's always good for the mood and for the confidence. But when I watched next to me in the 85th minute, I got the feeling, so it's also perhaps a good idea to send him on the pitch, and he was ready to go and was not scared. And I'm happy that he went through without being re-injured. So for that, I think it was also good for his confidence to have a few minutes in the tank, and each every day helps. And obviously also Jaden looked lively. And also Joel obviously was also there with a goal in the last game. Also perhaps expected a bit to start, not that easy, but they all put their individual thoughts away and put a real shift in for the whole team, and was happy with all my substitutions. Yes.
Thank you, Stuart.
Daniel, we saw William Anto take a couple of blows, including to the head. Was him coming off? Was it just a case of fresh legs, or is there a problem there?
No, so we had some bruises and was also bleeding a little bit, but we also have to keep in mind, especially the offensive players, they need to be fresh to work their magic. And we have an important game on Thursday, and we have also good options, especially in the offensive positions as well. And Willie was also booked, yellow card. There was one incident when you could sense, I think it was Sainz fouled him. He got a free kick, but then pretended anyhow to get a hit and wanted to get a yellow-red card. You could sense, which is a very experienced side, that they thought perhaps, okay, there's a young 20-year-old Italian international, perhaps we can provoke him. And I didn't want to take this risk. again, no complaints about Norwich, because if you're an experienced side, you have to play these cards in order to do this. But didn't want to take any risks also for Thursday, because we also need Willie in a good shape, and for that, I think he played quite well. But then after 70 minutes, also under this conditions in this hot temperature, I think it was the right choice to take him off.
And there was a lot of fluidity, particularly in the first half, between your attacking players. Was that you sort of looking for the best combination, or was that just the game plan?
No, we want to be flexible, also to, like I mentioned, to use sometimes also Georgie Rutter a bit like a false nine, also to allow them to change positions, because it's one of our strengths, our mobility, our pace, and especially once you play such a physical and tall back four, you have to invest in movements, and I encourage them to do this even more. And the more confidence we got by more control over the game, the more fluid we were. And I liked a lot the second half. Yes, would have liked more if we would have brought the ball into this rectangle, but overall, second half the approach was quite good.
Daniel, if we're going to use VAR in the finals of playoffs, because the stakes are so high, do you think there's a case for using them in the semi-finals as well? And the reason I ask is not just the disallowed goal that annoyed you, but about 10 minutes after half-time, the only time, in fact, you looked in trouble in the second half was when Janulis got down the left, and I think it was Sarah put this shot wide, and Janulis looked yards offside, not just inches. And if we're going to have £150 million games at Wembley, well, the semi-final's got to be worth 75 million, isn't it? I mean, so do you think there's a case for using, I don't like VAR, but do you think when the stakes are high, there's a case for using it in the semis?
I tell you what, if I ask right now for VAR, and we are that fortunate that we go to Wembley, I know already if I'm asking for this, VAR goes not in our favor for Wembley. So for that, I don't ask for it. Definitely not, because I believe in karma. Then it's always the same. If we would have used VAR in order to make sure that we have fair decisions during this season, we wouldn't be in the playoffs. I would be already automatically promoted. That's definitely a fact. So for that, you can imagine what I think about VAR at the moment. Overall, in general, if we don't have VAR, we have to make sure that the decisions of the referee on the pitch has to be spot on. Yeah, that's the only thing. But what I can say about this.
To be honest, they've covered the questions I was going to ask. So
Anybody
that's
else?
fine.
No. Perfect.
Thank
Have a
you.
safe journey back. See you soon.